considered Donald Trump to be his main opponent. He considered Donald Trump to be bad for Great Britain, for the U.S.-UK relationship. So that's another reason he leaked. Now let's think about that. He's a foreigner interfering in our election by leaking information to help Hillary Clinton and to help Great Britain. That's what he admitted to in this interview with the FBI. Third, he divulges where he got his subsource, the famous subsource, the primary subsource, as the FBI called them. This is the person that gave him most of the bad garbage that was ultimately discredited by the FBI, disproven. He got a relationship with that subsource from none other than Fiona Hill, the former National Security Counsel for Donald Trump, who became an impeachment witness against Trump in 2019. Why is that significant? Well, beyond the interesting connections, by the time Fiona Hill turned over this subsource to Christopher Steele, the FBI was already investigating the subsource as a possible Russian asset. In fact, they were trying to get a FISA warrant on him when he fled the country, and they dropped the effort. So Fiona Hill, someone who worked for the Trump NSC, gave Christopher Steele a bad source that the FBI ultimately feared was a Russian asset.
Wow, pretty amazing developments here. And then one has to ask, okay, now that we know Durham had these documents the whole time, where is he?
Yep, I think he's fast at work trying to build the final parts of a criminal case. That's what my source reporting and indicates in talking to defense lawyers and other people. It looks like he is still going forward to build a significant criminal case. Now, let me tell you about something we're going to have in the morning. It's going to take some time to develop it overnight, but I think people will be surprised by this revelation. In 2014, the FBI determined that a foreign power was trying to influence Hillary Clinton and her campaign when she ran. In fact, they feared that they were going to do it through the delivery of money. The FBI tried for several months to get a FISA warrant, but according to these documents, they were turned down or held up by the 7th floor. James Comey and Andrew McCabe is the 7th floor. Wow. They ultimately decided not to investigate it any further, and unlike what they did to Donald Trump, they went to Hillary Clinton and gave her a defensive briefing and told her what this foreign power was trying to do. They did it through her attorney, David Kendall. It shows the entirely different system of justice. Hillary Clinton gets a defensive briefing, no FISA. Donald Trump gets a FISA, no defensive briefing, and 3.5 years of pain and suffering to his presidency and campaign. These documents are extraordinary. They were kept from the American public and the Congress, as President Trump said today when he declassified the documents.
And this is the tip of the iceberg. We're going to have more with John tomorrow night. John, thank you. That is unbelievable. Unreal. All right. Now tonight, there are GOP senators standing up to the madness that's being promoted by Chucky Schumer, the mob, and apparently Mitch McConnell about what would be an unconstitutional post-presidency impeachment. Because one thing's for sure, Republicans go along with another one of the Democrats' shift shows on the Capitol. It would, I think, destroy the GOP for good. Here with reaction, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. Senator, Rand Paul said it. You've been warning people. Yeah. And then you heard Mitch McConnell today. Yeah. Thoughts?
Well, number one, our country needs to heal. And a second impeachment of Donald Trump after he leaves office won't heal the country. It will further divide the country. So that's a good reason not to impeach the president. Another good reason, I think it's unconstitutional to impeach a person who's out of office. That will create never-ending revenge against presidents, particularly former presidents. And as to the Republican Party, if we throw in the towel, or perceive to having thrown in the towel, and not fighting against this impeachment, the Republican Party, as Rand Paul said, will crack up. 90% of Republicans, at least, believe a second impeachment of President Trump is unconstitutional, unfair, and should not go forward. So I'm asking Republican leaders in the Senate to lead. I like Mitch McConnell. He did more than confirm judges. He really helped President Trump with everything that he did. He's a street fighter legislatively. He's a smart guy. But what we need right now is for Senator McConnell to unequivocally say that the second impeachment of Donald Trump after he leaves office is not only unconstitutional, it is bad for the country, and stand up and fight back.
Well, you got constitutional scholars, Alan Dershowitz. You got people like Ted Cruz. You got people like Mark Levin, the great one. And you're an attorney yourself. And former judges that sat on the bench for years and years have all said the same thing.
Right.
Now the question is on the last day the president's in office, what was the point of that if not to signal that it's okay to do this and drag the country through yet more hell? And on top of that, you'd be validating what the House did with the, snap impeachment, as Jonathan Turley has said, is extraordinarily dangerous.
If you're an institutionalist, and I consider myself very much an institutionalist, why would you want to legitimize an impeachment in the House that took less than 24 hours? The president did not have a lawyer available to defend him, and no witnesses were called. That, to me, is just something we don't want to legitimize in the Senate. In terms of the Senate's role in all this, we have a chance here for the future of the country to say that there's an end to all of this. Once the person leaves office, we're not going to pursue them. We're not going to have a scarlet letter impeachment to bar them from running for office. The Democrats have one goal here, and that is to deny President Trump the ability to ever run for office again. That should not be the Republican Party's goal. The Republican Party's goal should be to stand up to unconstitutional impeachments and realize that President Trump did a lot of good for the conservative movement. You can be disappointed with the president's behavior, but applaud his actions. And the people who defiled the Capitol, they did that. Not me, not Donald Trump, and that does not represent the 74 million people who stood behind President Trump and would vote for him again today. So to my Republican colleagues in the Senate, we have to rise to the occasion. If we don't, we're going to destroy the party.